Hi, welcome to AmateurLogic.TV, episode 33. I'm George.
And I'm Jim.
And I'm Tom.
And I'm Peter.
It's good to be back with you one more time. And, you know, it's only been, what, a month?
It seemed like, phew.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a month. It's nice to kind of get back on the schedule, try to.
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of lazy for a while there, but we're back.
Yeah, especially you, George. You're quite busy these days.
I'm extremely busy,
Yeah,
Peter.
that's right. Yeah, in fact, I don't know. I guess we're going to have to start calling him a California kid. You've been traipsing back and forth to California?
Well, I've been out there one time. Went out to the TWiT studios here for the grand opening a few weeks back. And I brought a little footage back to show y'all.
Great.
Well, let's have a look.
When I left home, I had a list of 3 places that I definitely wanted to visit. The first one you may recognize here by the crossed palm trees. This was my first stop after I left the airport. Yes, that's right, it's In-N-Out Burger. Probably the best hamburger I've ever eaten. My next stop was the new TWiT Brick House, grand opening of Leo's new studios, and they also had a special event station that weekend. I arrived at 3 o'clock just in time because we were scheduled to go on live with Ham Nation at 4 o'clock. I had a quick look around, and yes, it looks just like it does watching it over the internet. This is a table where we taped Ham Nation. The guy in the background with the hat on is Roger, the designer of the studio. I still had a little while before we had to go on with the show, so I took a quick look at the W6 TWiT Ham Shack. Man, that is one nice shack with all the ICOM gear, Howell microphones, and a vintage Collins transmitter and audio console. And there's Gordo right there posing for a shot. Here's what was on the main operating station at Leo's Ham Shack. Of course, the nice IC 7800 from ICOM, and a couple of more rigs and HTs, and of course Bob's microphones. Here's the Collins transmitter. I believe this was a 1961 model that's been restored by Mike DeRoe. It looked like it had just rolled off the showroom floor. What would you use to feed audio into a vintage Collins AM transmitter? Of course, a vintage Collins console. Unfortunately, not a lot of contacts were made during the special event due to the extremely high noise level they had. Look at here, it's better than plus 20, so that made only the strongest stations available. And I met Randy, K7AGE.
Here is, well, to AmateurLogic.
Fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, long time. Come a long distance, and welcome to California and to Petaluma and Leo's toy room here.
Well, isn't it great?
Yeah. That's when does makeup come in?
So actually, are you guys going to stand? Okay.
And this is the guy who does all the magic on Ham Nation, getting everybody in on Skype, mixing all the cameras.
So is this the right kind of? I thought you said 12 gauge.
We can use any.
This is speaker wire.
That's right.
I always imagined it'd be like wire.
It's wire. It's not wire.
Yeah, but isn't the insulation gonna? No, doesn't get in the way. See, I'm learning so much.
Right. What we're going to do is build a dipole, and you need a couple of things.
Are we recording? We want to make sure we're recording.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking. We just got
Are we using that? Oh, we're recording. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes, I know you need dikes.
Yep.
You need. Now this kind of simplifies everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it easy.
Do we have an over-the-shoulder shot? We do. Where is that?
It's the general.
Don't we have this shot?
We do, but Mike's, I think, will do this way.
That was from the live Ham Nation that we all sat down and did together. And this is the next day, Sunday afternoon, during the taping of This Week in Technology, the premiere show on the network. There were a number of people in the audience there. Unfortunately, you could just barely hear what was going on sitting back in the crowd. Tucked in one of the back corners of the studio, not yet on display, was Jerry Ellsworth's contribution, the Road King's pinball machine. On display was the TWiT arcade, which had a number of nice games on it. That's Brian Brushwood from NSFW, the show that follows Ham Nation, at the controls right now. I had a good talk with Brian about ham radio. I took a look at it myself, but I couldn't figure out how to make the characters move. Gordon is a huge 10 gigahertz fan, and there was a contest that weekend. Have fun.
Have a safe trip home, George.
You too. Caught him sneaking out the back.
Good to see you in Petaluma.
I had a great time at the TWiT studios, and Bob and Gordo and Leo were so nice to hang out with. I feel like I know them a lot better now. My visit at the TWiT studios and the In-N-Out Burger, which I visited 2 more times, was over. I had one more destination I had to see. That's right, Fry's Electronics. If you ever have the opportunity, you've really got to see this place.
All right, I definitely want to do Fry's. You know that I think that's the home of Fry's. I think that's where they first got started, in that area.
Yeah, I know it was somewhere around San Francisco. I'm not sure if that was the exact store, but man, that's a great
Now
place.
Tommy's the In-N-Out Burger expert.
Yeah, I've only been to one out in Arizona, but it was good.
Five Guys will give them a run for their money, but I think In-N-Out's better.
I like In-N-Out's better, but I like Five Guys a little bit because they're right up the road from me.
Peter, best burger joint in Australia?
We don't have In-N-Out as far as I know. Really, we're just limited to McDonald's and Hungry Jack's, which is our version of Burger King. But we have a lot of sort of local hamburger joints where you can go get a hamburger if you want, and I find them a bit tastier.
I've got an email here from Kurt, WB9FMC. Says he stumbled across our site and is enjoying it. Got a lot of good info. Thanks. Well, you're welcome. A note on episode 29, it says, we mentioned about online receivers some time ago. I found, or maybe someone told me, a very different interface for SDRs called WebSDR. It allows many simultaneous users all tuning different frequencies. It also, that was a tongue twister. It also very responsive with very little lag time. Here's a link to a list of receivers. Got a link to w4mq.com. Anyway, so it's more functional than a lot of the online receivers. You know, some other people had emailed back about that too, and I need to go back and revisit that and try out that piece of software.
That's some cool software.
Jim, you've been reading Facebook, hadn't you?
Yeah, boy, I tell you, I love our Facebook page these days. We're getting a lot of traffic, a lot of comments, like this one. Some fella named Tommy Martin said, "Oh yeah, whoa, that's you."
I wouldn't listen to anything that guy says.
The ceramic filters have gone bad in your receiver, and sensitivity is bad and sounds like lightning on FM. And I know that you and I talked about that, but you know, I didn't think it was going to generate 14 comments on our Facebook page, and I thought you made a very good point, which I just wanted to bring out to our viewers, which was some people said, you know, they were worried about, some newer hams said they were worried about the number of repairs that seems to be required for equipment, and your point was that don't worry about it. No matter what brand of radio you have, you're going to run into that sooner or later, but it's not like it happens all the time. What exactly was it that you were telling them?
Yeah, basically the number of failures as opposed to the number of radios out there that don't have a problem, probably very minute.
Minuscule.
And that actually goes for pretty much anything.
I've got a message from Robert, 2W0BJR. He says he likes to build kits and now has a collection of about 20 of them. He asks, how's my location for RF noise? Because he's swamped with electrical noise at his QTH. That's his location. Are the radio airwave conditions getting worse these days compared to before? I'd have to say undoubtedly yes. Especially I live in a very, very noisy RF environment here in Melbourne, suburban Melbourne. There is a solution, or a partial solution at least, to that. And it's timely that I mention this because I believe Leo Laporte was having some trouble out at Petaluma with the amount of local RF noise out there. And the solution is a loop antenna. It won't give you a terribly powerful signal on transmit, but the beauty of a loop antenna is that you can turn it side on to the source of the noise, and it will basically null it out or reduce it considerably. So it's for noisy environments, I think a loop antenna is a really good idea.
Okay, yeah, I use an 80 meter loop here, and it really is a lot quieter than the dipole I had tried.
Very true. I might point out that any closed loop or closed, how else would you say that?
Antenna?
Yeah, just a closed antenna. It's not. I haven't quite got my terminology right, but I think you get the point. Is yeah, as opposed to a dipole where the ends are left open. If you complete the circuit, those antennas are a lot less noisy.
Yeah.
George, I've got a quick question regarding that 80 meter loop antenna. I have heard that the bandwidth of those antennas tends to be relatively narrow. So in other words, you can't operate perhaps across the whole of the 80 meter band, but only through a relatively narrow portion of it. Is that correct, or is that something that you can kind of build out when you're building the antenna?
Well, I think it's going to depend on the shape of the antenna somewhat, but I use a tuner here, so it really hasn't been a problem I've run into.
But on the 80 meter band, you're going to have trouble tuning the whole band with virtually all antennas, just because it's so wide and so massive.
Yeah. I've got an email here from Tom, N2BEW, and Tom writes, I really enjoy your broadcast. I just discovered your show on YouTube about a month ago, and I'm going through the process of downloading and viewing them all right now in the highest quality from the website. Absolutely excellent job by everyone in the show, and as well as the editing on it. They're all very well done. I saw one of your shows where you mentioned you wanted to have other amateurs contribute content. You probably are already aware of his videos, but I would like to suggest Randy, K7AGE, who broadcasts amateur radio videos on YouTube, as someone who'd make a great guest on the show. Well, just as a happy coincidence, I ran into Randy a few weeks ago.
Yeah, all right.
Randy, we've enjoyed seeing your videos on the internet.
Well, I've enjoyed yours as well. So it's like we've, have talked about getting together, and here we are in Petaluma, California, at Leo's studio. And I'm about a 2.5 hour drive away, and you spent all day.
Yeah, I got up like 4:45 this morning, Central Time.
Yeah. So to come out here for this Geek Fest.
Yeah.
So that's great. It's great to see you.
Great studio here, isn't it?
Yeah, we're using one of the sets and the lights that are on here, so it hopefully making pretty pictures.
Well, I had a few questions here that I wanted to ask you that some of our viewers might be interested in. Just how old were you when you got into ham radio?
I kind of try and remember that. It was probably like a sophomore in high school, so that would be maybe 15, 16, something like that. And I got my novice. My dad was a ham, so he had the station, and I just, through osmosis, picked up all the radio stuff. And I had my novice. He had a Johnson Invader 200, which I could not use because it was VFO, and back then you had to have crystal controlled in 75 watts. So I bought one of these Amico AT1s, I believe it is. It's a little like 5 watt, 10 watt.
Yeah.
They sold for like $14.95. Today they go for what, $200-300 on eBay. I think I probably threw it out. And then I think I moved on to like something like a DX40.
Yeah.
And then it expired and it ran out. And I didn't get my general until about probably my first or second year of college. And then I was into the 2 meter FM craze back in the early 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, that came on pretty strong.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun back then, running the radio head in a car had 26 tubes, and I had it on 2 channels.
And how long would your car battery last?
Not long.
Well, we've seen you work a lot of PSK 31 on YouTube. What's your favorite mode?
It's kind of hard to say. I'm not really active a whole lot. So I get on 75 with some locals in Northern California and also Nevada. Saturday and Sunday mornings. Most of those guys are all retired, so it's kind of a gang there. With summers, kind of a hard time. Really don't get on much. In the winter, I will start getting on more. I like to get on with PSK, and within about 2 or 3 QSOs, the person I'm chatting with says, "Oh, I've seen your videos," or "I've gotten on PSK from it," and such. So I do a lot of listening with JT65. If I'm out and about, I'll leave the radio on 14230 and just capture slow scan pictures during the day.
Yeah.
I've run the radio in whisper mode when I'm not around, and then come back later and see what the propagation looks like. So I kind of fool with a lot of different stuff, but I'm not on like 75 every night or 20 every Saturday afternoon and such. So,
What's your favorite band, would you say?
if you're going after DX20 is kind of the best all-around band. It's fun to work the DX, see it show up on the spot, and go after it and stuff.
So what do you do for a living?
I work for a broadcast equipment manufacturer up in Grass Valley, and it's Miranda. It's a Montreal-based company. They bought the company in Grass Valley, and we build video and audio routing switchers for the broadcast world.
Okay, now we used to use Grass Valley equipment when I worked in television years ago. This is not an offshoot of that company, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay.
There's probably maybe 20 companies in the Grass Valley area, which are all offshoots from the Grass Valley group. During its peak, they probably had 1,300 employees there, and now I'm not sure if they're in the 300 range.
Yeah.
So I worked there for 22 years.
Wow. So what do you actually do there?
I'm a pre-sales engineering person, so I work on the proposals and quotes, supporting our sales staff and dealers worldwide, basically.
So I guess with HD in the last few years, that's kept you busy.
Yeah, very busy, and now we're doing some neat things with audio, because a lot of the digital video has the audio embedded in, so we don't need separate wiring. Well, now we have switches. We can take all the audio out and switch it independently, which is very popular in production and also in trucks for doing broadcasts. So that's what I do during the day.
So is that what you've always done? I mean, as far as a job, or have you worked in other fields?
It's always been broadcasting. I worked in college studios. I went to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, and worked in the TV studio there. Ended up full-time student, then turned into full-time working and taking classes at night. That's one of the things with ham radio, taking the engineering classes. I'd be in the class and go, oh, that's kind of neat, because at home at night I was building a repeater controller. I was etching boards and the logic courses and stuff. I could really tie it together, and that's a perfect thing for engineering students to get their ham tickets, because it gives them a chance to take an experiment and play at home and kind of put a real world to the theory.
Yeah, so we got kind of similar backgrounds, and you worked on, I guess, you worked on the stations themselves, but you worked in equipment manufacturing as well, and I've worked at radio and television stations all my life, and I work for an equipment manufacturer now. So
I started off as a field service guy working on the switchers all over the world, moved into the design. We worked on the Model 100 and 200 production switchers. I worked in a group that was doing a desktop editing project that never came to life, moved into a systems group where we did large routing and large file server type systems, and now I've just kind of stayed with the routing stuff.
Yeah. Are there any particular events you like to work on ham radio? Any particular time of the year that there's something going on that catches your fancy?
I've done a few of the teletype contests. They're a lot of fun, but it takes the whole weekend. It's 48 hours. You start 4 o'clock Friday afternoon or something, and it just totally wipes that out. I kind of like working some of the special event stations, because they're on for many different things, and they typically have a real nice card or a certificate that you can mail in and get. So that makes for nice wallpaper.
Yeah, there's a special event station going on behind us over here now.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the club call letters that they're using over there.
W6KB.
That's right,
Yep.
W6KB, and I'm not sure
In fact,
Leo's working. I heard him over there a while ago.
Yeah, it looks like I see Bob on there right now, and it looks like they're on 40. There was an awful high noise level here in this building, so it wiped out 20 today.
Yeah. I wonder if they'd be better off with some loops up there.
Yeah, maybe. And I mentioned to Gordon, maybe PSK 31 would have worked today.
Oh yeah, I bet it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to get Leo on PSK 31.
Well, when can we expect the next video out from K7AGE?
Hopefully in the next few days.
So it may already be out, guys.
Before we're watching this.
Because it'll probably be a few weeks before this is out. So go look up Randy, K7AGE on YouTube.
Yes.
He's got, how many videos do you have?
I think there's
on
about
there?
54.
Wow.
Tomorrow, Sunday, is my 5th anniversary of posting, so I want to do a follow-on to my first. So that's tomorrow's project. My wife is out of town, so I can monkey around with radio and video the entire day.
Well, that's great. We like to do that too when the wife's out of town.
Right.
And
Right, none of the chores get done, the lawn won't get mowed, oh well.
Yeah. Well, Randy, we're a fan.
Okay.
We've enjoyed watching you for 5 years now.
Yeah, it's nice to see you face to face.
Yeah.
Maybe see you at NAB or somewhere.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
We'll,
I plan on
try to
going
look you
this
up.
year probably on my own, but I'll go Wednesday morning because Wednesday night's the big night with the big ham thing there. In fact, we should get Leo to broadcast from there. I think that would be
he did
neat.
last year.
Oh, okay, he did. Okay.
He did, yeah.
Okay.
He actually had a booth there and did some broadcast, and that's kind of, I guess, how Bob Hornswoggled him into getting into ham radio. He
cool.
came to the ham party and had a lot of fun.
So I plan on being in Vegas for that, hopefully. So, cool.
All right, Randy. We'll
All right.
catch you on YouTube.
You bet.
Yeah, I've been watching Randy's videos on YouTube for a long time. He's got some real interesting stuff. He covers a pretty wide variety of topics. From doing some DX into equipment, a lot of different things.
He's been into it for a good while too. He's got a lot.
Oh yeah.
And if you're interested in PSK 31, he's got some of the best tutorials out there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Tommy, what's on your email stack there?
Man, I've got an email from, this is an interesting guy, way he operates. It's John, WA8YXM. Yes, I'm homeless. I live in my car. All 37 feet of it. Okay, it's a motorhome. That doesn't sound like that bad of an inconvenience to me, because honestly, that's my goal one day, to be able to do that.
Land yacht.
Yeah. So anyway, he says, how about a road show that's a show featuring shacks with wheels and perhaps even engines that haul them down the road? He says he puts the TS2000 in the half bath right over the main power transfer switch.
I wish I had them.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice.
George has one mounted in his shower too.
That beats taking the handy talkie in there, right?
Yeah. As long as you got the right ground system.
He uses a 100-foot long wire. A KAT1 tuner feeds it. I have a weight about 2 pounds at the far end of the wire and a fabric cord on it.
So I guess he has a sign on the back that says, stay 100 feet back.
I think he means for when he's parked.
Oh, okay.
Throw it over a limb.
Yes, I've got an email here from Craig, VK3VCM. Craig lives in a 15th floor apartment and uses a buddy pole deluxe and a buddy stick. He mentions the conditions are getting noisy. It seems to be a common theme these days. And asks, do we have ever try our luck at portable HF? Well, I don't do it very often. I do have a portable HF antenna, but of course in the last episode, George, Tommy, Jimmy went out on field day. So you might want to check out that episode. He also asks, do we have any ideas for antennas in restricted apartments? I'd come back again to a loop antenna, a much smaller one, that could be a good option.
Hi, this is Tommy. I'm here at the Huntsville Hamfest. Finally made it. I've been talking about coming to this thing for years, and this time it finally worked out. I thought I was not going to be able to make it, and then I had another quick change of plans, and it worked out. Glad for that. While I'm here, we're going to look around, see what's in here. This is my first time to come to this one. Let's go inside. There's quite a line at the counter to go in, but let's go in and check it out, see what's going on. Well, we're inside the Huntsville Hamfest. Looks like they've got a really nice variety of vendors, new equipment vendors, a lot of swap tables set up over to the left over here when you first walk in. I'm sure the video doesn't do it justice, but we'll go up and down all the aisles and let you have a good look around here in just a few minutes. We got CQ magazine here. Flex radio. That's a pretty sweet piece of gear right there. I would love to have that. We got our buddies from CT Morgan here. We interviewed them at the Jackson Hamfest this year. Got a lot of MFJ gear. Motor oil. Don't forget to change your motor oil on your HF rig. Batteries. Batteries America. That's something we're missing at the Jackson Hamfest. We don't have any battery vendors for handy-talkies.
I can give you the information that's on the paper that's in there.
Looks like they got a battery for pretty much anything. If they don't have it, looks like they got enough stuff you can make your own.
What about the paperwork that came with it? You got that?
As you can see, there are a lot more new vendors. Gigaparts were there. MFJ was there like usual. We're glad to see those guys doing so well. And just many swap tables of used gear. It was pretty incredible. Most popular radio has to go to these ocean little Chinese handy-talkies like George got at the Jackson Hamfest. Everybody had one or was buying one. There were tables and tables just full of every kind of electronic component you could think of. Gauges, project boxes, rubber feet for your project boxes, knobs, all types of components. It's a great place to go stock up if your supplies are running low. Well, I'm here at the Huntsville Hamfest, and I ran across an interesting gadget. I was going to see if the guy demonstrating it can tell us a little bit about it. What's your name?
John Troy. Yep.
Anyway, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And, tell me about what you've got here.
Well, what we've got is the Remote Shack, which is a revolutionary new product that allows you to remotely control your station all from your cell phone.
What is this? This is a hardware solution, obviously. What all is involved in it? What hardware do we need?
Yeah, it's a standalone solution, a one-box solution, in addition to your cell phone when you're on the go. And it basically works as a total one, turnkey solution for remote control. It's plug and play. It comes customized for your particular radio, whether you have an ICOM radio, a Kenwood radio, a Flex radio, or even a Yaesu radio. We make the cable specifically for that radio, and the unit is designed to control your radio, plug and play operation, all from your cell phone.
And what does something like that cost?
The unit itself runs $479, plus the cable kit runs $49.
Okay, and those are available now, right?
Yes, they're available immediately off our website at AmateurLogic.TV.
Oh, awesome. So this is just one device, and it can control the radio, your rotor, everything, right? And I think I even saw it power on the rig from remote.
Yes, it'll if your rig supports it, it'll power on your radio. It will control your rotor. It will control frequency. You can go on the air just like you were sitting in front of the radio. And it'll also control external relays if you want to be able to control a relay on and off.
And to get back into this, you can use a standard cell phone, or I think maybe I saw Skype on there, and you also support like Magic Jack and any of the low-cost or IP telephone alternatives.
That's right. You can use a standard run-of-the-mill telephone line, or you can use Vonage, Skype, Magic Jack, or even Comcast. It's a standard telephone line interface. It has two remotes inputs, actually, two link inputs. One's audio and one's a telco port.
Okay, well, that's pretty awesome. Well, on the show, we discuss a lot of times. I have to travel with my job, and we discuss a lot of options to be able to get on the air from hotel rooms and so forth, and this looks like right up my alley.
Yeah, this is a simple one-stop plug-and-play solution. Allows you just to sit back, poolside, call into your system and work DX from anywhere in the world, all with only having your your cell phone and a nice little Bluetooth headset, and you're ready to go.
Oh, that's pretty awesome, man. I appreciate you telling me about it. Can you kind of give us a demo?
Sure, I sure can. All right.
Welcome. General. Remote base ready. 14, 3, 2, 3, 5. USB. Receive.
From there, we can also rotate our beam if we want.
Antenna. Rotating to 100 degrees.
We'll stop the rotation here.
Stop rotation.
We'll go to 40, right? Let's go to 40 meters. 007 200 stop. Oops, there we go.
DSOA 72000 LSB.
Now let's scan the band, right? We want to talk to
Tuner
somebody,
in.
right? Well, I look. Yeah, those don't like this finger here.
Receive.
Scan the band. Okay, now all of a sudden we find somebody we want to talk to, right?
Stop.
And now we nibble them in a little bit, go a little bit slower on the scan. Okay,
Stop.
and then we can do 500 hertz nibbling or 100 hertz nibbling. When we find the guy, now we want to apply a filter.
Filter. Attenuator on. Preamp on. Noise blinker on. Noise reduction on.
Well, I found my BL259s. I guess I can go home now. Well, it's been a fun Hamfest. Got to see some old friends. Met some new ones. Met some people that we talked to on Twitter and Facebook fairly frequently. As a matter of fact, been approached by some people that I'm not sure who they were, but they're viewers of the show. I wish I'd have gotten their names and calls, but anyway, it was great to meet you guys. It's a great Hamfest here. It's a good size. There's a lot of variety of equipment, some good used gear, a lot of new equipment vendors. It's pretty much an all-day event to go through the whole thing and look at it pretty close. So I recommend coming if you get a chance, and hopefully I'll make it back next year. See you soon. If you get to come to the Hamfest, be sure and pack your rod and reel. You might get in a little fishing like I did.
Well, Jim, I guess we know what Tommy bought at the Hamfest now.
His standard PL259 purchase. That winds up the show.
It's not a Hamfest if you don't come back with at least a couple of those.
That's right.
Well, I've got an email here from Jason, and I don't have his call letter, so I'm not really sure. I assume he's a ham. Well, he must be, judging by the topic here.
Oh, okay.
I've recently stumbled upon your show, and I've not had a chance to watch every single episode yet, but I'm working on it. And if you've already covered this topic, I'd like to know about it. I've always been a little confused about the methods of grounding station, antenna, equipment, and all for electrical safety and RF energy. And he said that he and a friend went through several years ago and did what they thought was a proper grounding of his station and equipment. And he got on the air and he keyed up. Listened first, though. Listened for a while and decided to talk. Keyed up, and after a few seconds his hand started tingling and he had a strange sensation in his head, and the mic got hot, so he dropped it like a hot potato.
Been there.
Wow.
So
Pretty close anyway.
he's asking, what kind of grounding situation does he need to be looking into there? And my first thought was, well, he's already grounded it.
Yeah.
It sounds like RFI coming back.
Yeah, it is. RFI for sure.
And I did a segment on that on Ham Nation episode 17 last week at twit.tv/HN.
Very
I would
well done.
suggest, Jason, go take a look at that, because you might learn a little something there that would help. If you've already grounded it, then odds are it's some kind of RF energy coming back into the shack.
Yeah.
You had to work on getting a little RF out of your rig too, didn't you?
As a matter of fact, I did, and I made a segment about it. I was getting RF out of my microphone audio, And so I built a little box that we're calling an audio interface. I thought I'd get into a little bit of a technical project this go around. I've been needing to build an audio interface for my ham rig and my microphone for a pretty long time. Occasionally I get a comment like this: hey, it sounds like you've got RF on your audio. And I do. What they're talking about is RF from the rig is getting into the microphone and causing distortions in my microphone's audio. So we're going to build an audio interface that will prevent that from happening, but also does a couple other things. It can better match the impedance of your microphone's output to your ham rig's mic input circuit. It can also prevent ground loops, depending on your particular installation. If you have some, it might cause hum to get on your microphone's audio. In my particular case, we're going to be building a circuit which will take a microphone such as this one. It just happens to be a medium condenser, medium diaphragm condenser mic. And we're going to interface them with a line transformer, the heart of the audio interface. This particular line transformer is 600 to 600 ohms. It's made by AmateurLogic.TV, and I'm not being paid to say so, but I think they make a really great line transformer. A lot of value for the money. We'll put that link up for you. And so let's take a little bit closer look at the components that we'll use and schematic to see how exactly we'll construct this very simple circuit that we're calling an audio interface. Okay, so ready to take a little bit closer look at the components we're going to use to build our audio interface. The heart of the project, as we said, is our line transformer. The AmateurLogic transformer is rated at 50 to 15 kilohertz frequency response, 18 dB gain. This is the model T18 if you'd like to order one from their website. And an illustration here shows us which pins tap the primary and which pins tap the secondary transformer. And as you can see, it's designed to fit into a tube socket, which I just happen to have one of in my junk box, and so I took my nibbler tool, got it mounted here in this old aluminum box. It's not an Altoids tin, it's a little bit bigger than that, and the potentiometer mounted in here as well. And it's not your garden variety potentiometer, it's a lock pot. It's designed to be adjusted with your screwdriver, obviously, but it has a lock nut on it, and the lock nut must be loosened before you can make an adjustment, and afterwards you tighten your lock nut back up to hold it snug so that adjustments can't accidentally be made, for one thing. And other than that, we've got a couple of 1/4-inch monaural chassis mount jacks that I still haven't mounted yet. And those will be for input and output audio. We'll probably drill a couple of holes and mount those babies right there. Have to think about how it's going to wire up, but that'll probably work. So yeah, let's think about how it's going to wire up and take a look at a schematic. Okay, let's look at our schematic here, drawn in G-Scheme, a free Linux application. And we'll zoom in here and get a little bit closer look at the components. On the left, our input and output jacks. Upper right hand corner, the transformer with the primary on the left, secondary on the right, and our pot in the lower right hand. Now, what are those funny looking things, CCW and CW on the pot? Well, let me show you or demonstrate that. See, every pot, which is just variable resistance, has a counterclockwise lead and a clockwise lead. And the middle lead is a common lead. So 3 leads, counterclockwise, common, and clockwise. So I'm just going to do a test here to not only demonstrate that to you, but to make sure that I know which lead, is the clockwise lead, because that's the one I want to use. The clockwise lead will have the resistance lowest when it's fully counterclockwise and highest when it's fully clockwise. Now here you see me turning turning the pot all the way clockwise, and you see resistance is all the way down, or 0. And then when I turn it fully counterclockwise, resistance is at its highest. So this is not the lead I want. So it'll be the opposite lead. But I'm just going to verify that. As soon as I hook this up, you'll see resistance go all the way to 0, which, if you're unfamiliar with volt ohm meters, is all the way to the right. Now as I turn the pot clockwise, or like increasing a volume knob, you see resistance go all the way high, which is all the way to the left on your meter here. So resistance is at its peak. Now I'm going to turn it counterclockwise, or like turning a volume control down to 0, and you see resistance drop to 0. So, yep, this is the lead we want to wire up when we do our soldering, the left-hand lead. Okay, good deal. Now, let's go back to our schematic and we'll draw it up. First, the input, we'll draw our positive and negative, and it doesn't matter which is which, that is to say, whether the positive is lead number 1 or negative lead number 2. In fact, you probably won't even know. So we draw our input to the to the primary side of our transformer. And then on the secondary side of our transformer, where are we going to go with that? To our potentiometer. And one lead will go to the wiper. It does not matter which wire, positive or negative. And the other wire will go to our clockwise lead. All right? So the only thing left to do now is draw our output jack, connect our output jack, which will connect to the same 2 terminals as our secondary. I've been saying leads, and technically they're terminals. And okay, hang on here. I messed up. Just a second. Let's delete that wire. We don't want our wires crossed. Okay. I can't delete that one. Okay, this is my first time to use G-Scheme. I practiced a little bit. I think I can get it done this way. Yeah, here we go. And so there you have it. Our schematic is drawn. Now all that's left to do is actually wire this up in real life. Plus mount our 2 jacks. I got to get that done first. Didn't mention this before, but wiring's almost like a component in and of itself. You see this tin foil? It's normally wrapped around the 3 wires inside the gray jacket of this cable. This is a 3-conductor shielded cable. So the shielding acts to keep RF out of your project. Okay, here's a little final tour of the wiring. We started out at the input and we ran 2 wires, a positive and a negative, you can think of them, from these 2 terminals over to the 2 inputs to the primary of the line transformers. If we look at our illustration, that'll be pins 1 and 8 on the line transformer. And then we ran from the two outputs, pins 4 and 5, down to our pot, just as we saw in our schematic. And then we run from our pot onto our outputs. Normally, I would use a little terminal strip mounted here, say, to run both sets of wires to, but since I was working with such large terminals on the pot and just about the right size wire, I could easily fit both onto the pot and thereby not have to mount a terminal strip. And then so we come on to our output and we're done. So there you have it. Go do a little rumbling around in your junk box, find you a project box and a pot at about 500 ohms and a good line transformer, a couple of jacks, and you're set to go. You can interface or isolate your microphone from your rig, which will provide a better audio interface.
Jim, you know, that's a tip that a lot of hams could use that are hooking up external audio into their rigs. I've been doing it here for years on mine, and I don't think I can operate without it.
Oh man, it really is. It's amazing how much difference it makes, and thanks to you for the tip on where to find those fantastic line transformers, Op Amp Labs. They make a really great product.
Yeah, that's not the ones I'm using, but when we started talking about it, I started doing some searching. I thought about them and looked, and the specs are great, the prices are great. So
couldn't be more pleased.
Yeah. I've got one final email myself here, and this comes from our friend Charlie, KY5U, who we met at the Hamfest a few years ago. Charlie's one of our friends on Cam Radio Net. Anyway, he has worked up a great mobile site here for people with smartphones who need some access to various ham applications. He's got a universal one because it's a web page. It's http://mobile.ky5u.net. Go there and check it out. Charlie's got some great stuff. You can do it from a smartphone. You can do it from your web browser on anything.
Good tip. I heard that, I saw that Peter Barrett had put a post and said that he had heard a vicious rumor that in the next few weeks an extra 3 hours of content would be popping up from Amateur Logic. And I thought I would just ask him about that while we had him here on the show.
Yeah, well, you should know, Jimmy, never to believe vicious rumours, but maybe there is a little bit of truth to this one. My segment for this week is a few short highlights from a digital amateur TV QSO party that was held amongst all the amateur TV operators here in Melbourne to celebrate 100 years of Amateur Radio Victoria, our local club. I've condensed that down for this episode down to about 10 minutes, but I had literally hours of footage recorded from the Friday and the Saturday nights. On the Friday and the Saturday afternoon, I should say. On the Saturday afternoon, we were also joined by fellow ham TV operators in California and elsewhere in the United States who actually came in via Skype. So we actually had an international hookup, which was great. So anyway, here's the highlights, and I hope you enjoy that. And keep an eye out for a couple of AmateurLogic extras, each about an hour long, which will give you much longer footage.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Digital Amateur TV QSO Party. This QSO Party is a part of the 100 years celebration of Amateur Radio Victoria.
And towards the end of that period, I ended up getting some modules from SR Systems, and was the first here to transmit DVB-S in Brisbane on 23 centimetres. And of course, over the last, 5 years or so, we've been playing with the terrestrial digital as well.
Well, thank you, Peter, and good evening, everyone. This is Winston VK 7 Echo Mike in Penguin, and I must say I've got a little prompt sheet there, but I must say congratulations to Amateur Radio Victoria for 100 years.
I decided to go around the other way. This is the new build repeater. There's no audio on it. You'll see there's the rack frame and the wiring, VDAs on all inputs, waveform monitoring, using a Cox coder, video coder, and using the old club BATC circle.
Good afternoon and evening wherever you are out there in television land. I'm Ross VK3CE, and welcome to Bendigo, the home of the VK3 RBO television repeater. I've been a member of the British Amateur TV Club, I think, for 25 or 26 years now.
Yeah, so congratulations to Amateur Radio Victoria for turning 100. Fortunate enough to be watching the whole thing via the RTV downlink.
Victoria, a very happy birthday and continued success on this their 100th year. I've been active in amateur radio since 1987 and up with a novice license and upgraded to...
Welcome everybody from Peter VK3PB here in Baronia, and first of all congratulations to Amateur Radio Victoria on its centenary, and special congratulations also to Peter VK3BFG for organising this celebration.
G'day everyone, VK3KQ. I'm a bit of a newbie to ATV. Got interested after Peter came to the talk.
G'day, alright, this is VK3KHB. Gary. I'm rolling on it this time of night anyway with amateur television broadcasting some ESA, European Space Agency video.
Right, good evening everybody, it's VK3DQ. I'm located in Wanatuna South, and first of all, very many congratulations to Amateur Radio Victoria on their 100 years.
Hello everyone, this is Nick, VK3CH from Northcote. I'll just turn the TV down. Okay, no worries, good day. Thanks everyone for inviting us up. I think we're a bit of a young'un, we're probably one of the younger ones on ATV.
Opportunity to say good day to everyone, and firstly congratulations to Amateur Radio Victoria and on their 100th year, and also thanks to you for organising this whole thing. This is very good.
So, and we haven't been drinking either.
No. We've just enjoyed pizza, Peter. So pizza and a few ales. So we've had a fantastic night, Peter. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think the name was Peter on was it VK3 RTV. Here is Norm, November, Oscar, Romeo, Mike, and I'm a retired engineer. I live in a town called Norco, California.
PB, and I've got George, what's your call sign again there, George?
It's W5JDX.
For organising it. Good afternoon everyone in Australia, and good evening to everyone in the US. And fantastic event. I've only just started into amateur television, and it's a fantastic medium, and very happy to be involved.
Again, my name is George. My call sign is Alpha Charlie 6RB. AC6RB.
I guess my audio is a little low, so I'll shout out a little bit there. And we're the current president of Amateur Television Network here in Southern California.
See everybody from Australia. A few years ago I took a trip over there. Got a call, VK3AIE. I never renewed it, so it just lasted 1 year, I guess. But very nice people, and enjoyed the trip.
Hey, good evening. Oh, let me mute the audio mic from the ATC here. Anyway, good evening, Australia. Name is Mark here. They call me Fish. Last name is Fisher. And
in W6MF, and good morning.
This is VK3DQ in Montana South, 73.
G'day Melbourne, g'day America, and whoever else is hooked up, and everyone across Melbourne that might be watching on VK3RTV. This is Nick, VK3CH, operating portable out of Bundoora Park, northeast of Melbourne, and we're running the DVBS, probably putting about 8 watts up into the mountain.
W6KG real quick here on the I'll back up here a second.
Okay, good afternoon, Don, and thank you for letting me check in through your Skype system. Let me just bring my station up. I've been named here's Carl, call sign is November Bravo 7 Charlie, and one of my call signs from the past is BK7 Charlie Golf Sierra. Okay, very good, Don. Good evening to you and everyone on the AT network in Southern California, as well as here in Southern Arizona. The name is Doug, Delta Oscar Golf, call sign Whiskey 7 Foxtrot. Yeah, I'm showing some pictures now this is a picture from our barbecue last weekend, and the amateurs from ATN Southern California.
And you're live. Go ahead, Mario.
Hi, Don, and the rest of the net, and good evening to the BK3ITV crew down under. Happy anniversary, and another best wishes for our next 100 years.
So it's interesting. I think Don's proved to me he's mad. Trying to make it all work. But I already know Peter is. But no, this has been quite a good exercise.
Oh, there's my 1080 ID, which I am looking forward to using someday on digital TV, but I'm not doing it yet. And there's a field day amateur television setup that I had rotator mounted on top of my van.
Yeah, Peter, I love that segment, and in fact, I've always been intrigued by ATV, so I went in and did a sneak peek on your extras that are going to be posted probably along with this segment, and I can tell you that I enjoyed the extra in-depth coverage and learning a little bit more about each station operator and what kind of equipment they have in their setup. So, well done.
Enjoyed it, everyone. 73, and we'll catch you for a special show next time.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Later
Don't forget
on.
to check us out on Twitter at AmateurLogic.
And Facebook.
Yep, 73s.
That runs from the beginning.
Yeah, werewolves up there, man.
Yeah, I was trying to save this for the Halloween episode.
Can you hear them?
Maybe. Well.
Can you hear them, Peter?
Do you hear that?
I can actually. What are they?